Good morning, everyone. Today I will do a presentation about I.C.T class in Zimbabwe. The presentation is broken down into the following topics: the introduction, background of I.C.T education in Zimbabwe, I.C.T in the classroom, I.C.T class in Zimbabwe, topics taught, the assessment, I.C.T in my school or class, and lastly, the conclusion. Let's get started. Zimbabwe, like any other country in the world, is embracing the use of ICTs. And in Zimbabwe, the government, through the Ministry of Primary and Secondary Education, is making efforts to integrate ICT into teaching and learning. In Zimbabwe, ICT is taught as a subject, which means it is a learning area. Students learn ICT from early childhood development, which is the same as kindergarten, to higher education, depending on the school and availability of resources. However, in some schools, especially in the rural areas, they do not have electricity or computers, so it is very difficult to teach the subject. Now let's move on to the background of ICT education in Zimbabwe. In order for ICT to become a subject area, there were a number of policies that were put in place to support the use of ICT in education. For example, number one, we had the Commission of Inquiry in Education and Training, that is CIET, and that the commission was written in the year 1999, and the commission recommended the use and application of computers for teaching and learning in schools. Then we also have the National ICT Policy. This was written in 2005. The policy also emphasized on the integration of ICT into education, and it promotes the adoption of technology in all sectors, including education. Then in 2015, a new curriculum was introduced, and through the new curriculum frameworks were written, and the Ministry of Primary and Secondary Education wrote or developed some syllabuses that include ICT as a core subject. You can read more about the information in the links that I provided on the slide. Moving on, we also had the school computerization program. This program started in the year 2000. Computers were donated to some schools by our late President, Robert Mugabe. Then in 2011, an e-learning program was introduced. The program aimed at strengthening the use of ICT in teaching and learning. The picture below shows our late President during the launch of the presidential e-learning program in 2011. Now let's move on to ICT in the classroom. What is the advantage of using ICT in the classroom? Why should teachers or students use ICT in the classroom? Number one, ICT motivates students. We know that computers have a lot of information and pictures that can be used for educational purposes. So if students use ICTs or computers, they are motivated because the pictures or the information in the computers are appealing to them. Number 2, ICT increases creativity. When a teacher gives projects or assignments to students, and when students research for answers for the projects, they use ICTs, and through ICTs, they develop a sense of creativity. Number 3, ICTs improves academic performance. Like I said, through ICTs or through computers, there is a lot of information, a lot of educational information that students can use in their academic studies. Number 4, new learning methods are developed. For example, I would like to take you back to the start of coronavirus. During that time, all sectors were affected, including education. Classes were called off, students were not allowed to go to school. So through ICTs, teachers developed teaching methods. For example, they used a Google Classroom to give students lessons or assignments and examinations. Number 5, ICTs allows continued learning outside the classroom. Learning should not be constricted only to the classroom. ICT allows students to continue learning even when they are not in school or in the classroom. They can research on their tablets or computers at home for information that they can use in their studies. Now let's move on to I.C.T class in Zimbabwe. ICT lessons are derived from the syllabus. Remember, in the previous slides, I talked about curriculum frameworks. That is where the syllabuses were developed. There are infant syllabuses. The infant syllabuses includes grades ECD, that is early childhood development, grade 1 and grade 2. Then we have ICT syllabus for junior classes, that is grades 3 up to grade 7. The following are the topics that we teach. These are the ICT topics that we teach, and this is the scope and sequence chart for infants. These are the topics: ICT tools, creating and publishing, application software, safety and security, then programming. So when we look at the syllabus, all the topics require a hands-on or practical approach, meaning that in order for the teacher to teach these topics effectively, the students should have access to computers. Now, this is the syllabus for the juniors, and the topics are almost the same as those ones for infants, except that there are a few new topics. For example, the World Wide Web and online collaboration. We have ICT enterprise and also communication and networks. So the topics are the same for the infants and the juniors, except that the content increases as the students move to the next grade. And this syllabus also requires a hands-on or practical approach. The ICT timetable or time allocation as recommended by the ICT syllabus is as follows. The infants, that is grade ECD to grade 2, they have 2 ICT lessons per week. Juniors, that is grade 3 to grade 7, they have 3 lessons per week. And each lesson takes 30 minutes. Let's move on to assessment. How do teachers assess students in an ICT class? Various assessment methods are used. For example, number 1, we have coursework. Students are assessed through coursework. This includes class activities, discussions, homework, and quiz. Activities to assess the students' comprehension of ICT concepts taught in class. So coursework aims at assessing the students' comprehension of ICT concepts. Number 2, students are also assessed through projects. Students are required to work on individual or group projects that involve practical applications of ICT. For example, analyzing data using ICT tools. Number 3, students can be assessed through homeworks or assignments. Students are given specific tasks or problems to solve. They are required to apply their knowledge and skills. For example, creating and presenting digital presentations. And lastly, they are assessed through examinations. These examinations are given to students periodically. And these examinations aim at assessing the understanding of theoretical concepts, problem solving, and ability to apply ICT knowledge. The examination may include multiple choice questions and practical exercises. Please note that assessment methods are different depending on the school, the grade, and specific ICT course being taught. Now let's move on to ICT in my school or class. My school does not have electricity at the moment. We do not have Wi-Fi connection. We do not have a computer lab. We only have 1 laptop, and it is only used for administrative purposes, meaning that it's only used for office work only. We also have 1 multifunction desk printer used for printing and photocopying office documents or school exams and tests. Since our school does not have electricity, when the time for printing out or photocopying documents or tests and examinations, we carry our gadgets, the laptop and the printer, to the nearby shops, which are, the shops are only about 2 kilometers away from the school. So we carry our gadgets there, and because the shops have electricity, so we ask them to help us use the electricity so that we photocopy our documents. Teaching and learning ICT as a subject requires the use of computers. For example, when we look at the topics, there is a topic called ICT tools. And in ICT tools, there's a concept of teaching students parts of a computer. So if the teacher or the school does not have a computer, it is very difficult to explain to students or to teach them about the about the computer part. It is easier if concrete teaching materials are there. For example, if I want to teach them about the keyboard, I must have the keyboard with me, so that the students see how it is, see the layout of the keyboard, and maybe try to play around with the letters and the keys that are there on the left on the keyboard. If I want to show them the mouse, I must have that mouse, the computer mouse, so that they see it. Because students, especially those in elementary school or kindergarten, they understand the concepts better when they actually see the actual object. And if they see the actual object, they will never forget it. But if you just teach them, tell them theoretically, they easily forget. So it is very important to have these gadgets in an ICT class. ICT is a practical subject, meaning that a hands-on method should be used. When you are teaching about, let's say, right-click on the mouse, how can they right-click when they do not have the mouse? They should have the mouse, so that when you say right-click or left-click, they are the students are, they are, what can I say? They are doing the actions on the actual mouse. And this is how I teach ICT in my class. Like I said, our school does not have electricity. So because of lack of resources, I only use theory to teach ICT. I also use textbooks with pictures. We have ICT textbooks for each grade. I also print out ICT pictures at the printing shop in town. When I find time, when I get into town, I go to the printing shop and print out ICT pictures or any other teaching material that I need for any other subject or any other learning area in my class. And I also prepare wall charts. I prepare wall charts with information on ICTs. At school, we are given a colored paper where we write our charts. Then after that, for example, these are the wall charts. These are ICT wall charts, and these are the pictures that I put here are pictures that I printed out from the printing shop. Then I stick them on the sheet of paper, and then I write some information, some descriptive information there, and then I stick them on the wall. So when I stick the charts on the wall, students are able to learn even if when I'm not in the classroom. Even if I'm not there, students can go around the classroom reading the charts that are on the wall. For some topics that require drawing, I use drawings. I can draw them on the board, or maybe draw them on the charts and then put them on the wall. For assessment, this is what I do. I give students a written exercise after every ICT lesson. After every ICT lesson, I give them a written exercise just to see how well they understood the concept for that particular lesson. Every fortnight, that is every 2 weeks, I give students a class test, a written test. Our school also has a monthly test. Every month they write monthly tests. Then students also write end of term and end of year examinations. Tests that are given usually have multiple choice questions as well as structured questions. These are examples of the tests, and this one, it's a matching test. That is a matching test for lower grades. That is maybe from ECD up to grade 2. They have this kind of tests. And then these are multiple choice questions. Multiple choice questions are given to grades 3 up to grade 7. Then this is the example of structured questions for ICTs. And structured ICT questions are given to grades 3 up to grade 7. In our school, we do not give practical tests because we do not have the resources. In conclusion, the government of Zimbabwe is still in the process of electrifying rural schools all over the country. And I hope through this process, our school will be reconnected to electricity. Computers are being donated to schools so that ICT subject is taught effectively. Textbooks, ICT textbooks are also being donated to schools. Lastly, it is very important for all students in schools to have ICT knowledge and skills in line with the changing society. This is the end of my presentation. Thank you very much.